Okay, so welcome to the fifth session of the Russell Kema Art Speaker Series. This session is entitled Reimagining Creative Expression, the Fusion of Art and Technology. So you've heard of crypto art, artificial intelligence art, and other realms of creativity in the Gulf. So today we're going to focus on the phenomenon of non-fungible tokens, NFTs. Did I say that right? Okay. See, I know for sure I'm going to learn a lot. Our panelists today are artists, creators, and educators who will discuss alternative forms of artistic expression and the potential of technology revolutionizing the arts sector. So I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Lachelle Smith. I am the Grants and Partnerships Manager here at the Al-Qasimi Foundation. So excited to be here with you all today. And now I want to introduce my esteemed panelists. So directly next to me, we have Petra Kaltenbach. I said that right? Right? Yes. See, I practiced. She is a multi-awarded fine artist, video artist, graphic designer, curator, and art advisor. Born in Germany, she began her career as a graphic designer and later took on a position as managing director and partner of an advertising agency in Germany. In 2022, she was awarded the Best Emerging NFT Artist at Golf News Web Awards, and she currently serves as an art advisor to World Art Dubai. Please join me in welcoming Petra. Welcome.
Hello.
Next, we have Ivan Puzirev, who is an augmented reality, virtual reality, digital strategist. His research focuses on spatial computing and extended reality. He's the co-founder of World's Metaverse platform with more than 10 years of experience in digital strategy. And we'll just put a pin there because Ivan's going to tell us a little bit about what's on display here at Russell Kema Art for you all to have that experience as well. His portfolio includes Hermitage, which is the second largest museum in the world, Dubai Culture, Frank Stella. He's worked with Abdul Latif Jamil, Lexus, and many more. Welcome, Ivan. And last, but of course not least, is our dear Gillian Robertson. She is a Scottish-born and winning resident photographer at the Design Gallery here in Russell Kema. Oh, I hear a difference now. Her signature work, Hope, Camels in the Sea, was awarded first prize at Russell Kema Fine Arts Festival 2019. Congratulations. Yes, we appreciate your art here. And after that, she created the place I call home, which was a major British Council lens-based project that toured throughout the GCC and the UK. Her lens is currently focusing on the curation of a cultural series entitled The Women of Russell Kema in the Mountains, by the Sea, and of the Sand. And good luck with this, and we're hoping that we could collaborate and assist as well. So welcome, Jillian.
Thank you. Hello.
All right, so we are going to get into the questions, and the way that we have this set up, as a panelist, we're going to have a question. As a panelist, we're going to have a dialogue, and then after we talk for a little bit, we'll leave about 10 to 15 minutes for Q&A, okay? So if anything comes up, sparks your interest or whatever, just hold it into the end, and then we'll be sure to allow the audience to chime in as well. All right. So Petra, we're starting with you. Balancing traditional art forms with technology can be challenging. Thinking about the symbolic elements of your work, how do you ensure the essence and depth remains intact while using technological tools or platforms?
Yeah, well, I think the answer is much easier than you might think. For me, the digital realm is just another medium. Think of watercolor or oil or pencil, or even photography. So you have to learn. First, you have to learn the technique, and then you just do your art. It's the same thing, just another medium.
Okay. Straight to the point. I like it. Okay, Ivan, I'm coming over to you next. You've worked on projects with renowned figures like Frank Stella, Abdul Latif Jamil. You've also worked with various entities in the UAE. But based on these extensive experiences, what key lessons have you learned about bridging the gap between artistry and technological innovation?
Okay, that's a good question. So first, thank you so much for inviting me, and that's probably the first ever experience in my life when we have a conversation about the AR, VR, NFT without a screen, with the sound of the waving curtains. So it's just probably the perfect setup to get back to the real life and not escaping the reality. But back to the question you have asked me to. First, that's probably my favorite part of a job, to work with the artists, because they're brave. When you're working with a brand, they're always following the agenda of like a capital extraction, so they really want to bring them profit on table. So for the artists, at least for artists I work with, they kind of, okay, let's do this. I don't want to do this, just I want to show it to people, just I want to research this. So like probably the three advice I have and the three lessons I learned is just to be brave, and then to understand that the technology is already here, it's not evenly distributed. It's a quote, actually, pretty famous one. So the fact that you're not using the NFT or AR doesn't mean it's not here, because recently I have a session like 50 meters from here, and I saw the digital artworks all around. So it's already there. You just need to have a proper access device to see them. The second lesson is, it's actually a quote, it's a question. So if technology is the answer, what was the question? So it's pretty good quote by the Cedric Price, a UK-based architect back in 60s. So it's like, why? Are we planning to leave faster, or I wanted to get the content faster? I want to have my storytelling like right now, or what's the point of having this technology in front of you, like using this for artwork, merging this technology with art? So yeah, let's keep it like three. Brave, it's already here, and ask the question about like, why?
Yeah. I'm going off script because I want to sit here just for a little longer. Being brave, knowing that it's already here, what comes to my mind with that is, how do you know what's here? Right? I think that the space that you're in, maybe the conversations like with your clients, you have an idea about, what the product is. But for people, regular people like me, how do I know what's available? I mean, unless it's like a media, everybody's talking about Chat GPT, everybody's talking about what's out there. NFTs, I don't know what it is still. So what advice do you have as far as that? How do you be brave? And then also, how do you know what's out there, just for the regular people?
I think it's always about the community. So you need at least as one person following the specific trend. For example, this guy talking about the metaverse. Okay, I will go to talk with him.
Oh, I
There,
see.
guys, are always. So it's when you're surrounded with a certain amount of the point cloud of the information provided by the community around you, you become aware of what is there. So, for example, if you're interested about the AR, VR, spatial computing, you just feel free to text me anytime. It's an invitation. We have a small crowd here, and I easily can handle all of your questions. So I could be your expert for AR and VR.
Amen. Okay. All right, Jillian, I'm coming to you. From portraiture to travel to cultural inspiration, your photography projects are very diverse and demonstrates a broad exploration. How do you use technology to suit the unique demands of each of these genres, and what challenges and opportunities have you encountered?
Thank you for the question, Tiffany, and thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. As a photographer, I'm a storyteller and I use technology. I use technology and I use the subject to tell the story. That is my genre in photography. I've refined my kit, my technological kit, and my fast editing suite, which is, Lightroom that I use. In many ways, many respects, the way my journey has been, I've come from the dark room into the Lightroom.
Exactly.
So I have embraced modern technology, and which is now changing very rapidly into artificial intelligence in the Lightroom. It's the speed of developing my images,
Yeah.
and we kind of all know as well that speed is currency. So the technology for me is changing. It's changing very, very quickly. So I think the opportunities are the technology. I'm not doing chemicals. I'm doing Lightroom, as I said. The way that I edit the photographs is. It's changed enormously because the technology will pick up what you're going to enhance, what you're going to enhance and edit. So I try to lead the dance between manipulation and creative enhancement in my photography, and I think that is the kind of the challenge and the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. And what are some, you mentioned just a few, but what are some of the technologies that you're using with your photography?
Well, I think the technology I use, my camera is my camera.
Your camera, exactly.
But the camera is a camera, and it's I work my camera manually because I'm a trained photographer, old
Exactly.
school. I've learned that technology, the lens, the process. I've
Yep.
gone from the film into the digital, but I'm finding the AI is creeping into that technology now, because when I recently upgraded my Lightroom, instead of me taking a brush and trying to enhance somebody's face or bring out better qualities, the Lightroom can now say, hey, I can see the face, I can see the background, what do you want to do with it? So it's kind of it's now become a two-way traffic. And I think for me personally, I'm trying to stay in the realms of a reality because I'm a storyteller. I'm a visual storyteller.
Yeah.
I'm not creating images that aren't already there.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, Petra, we're coming back. As a curator, artist, and art advisor, how do you envision the future of art curation and creation, particularly in the context of technological advancements and integrating them into the art worlds?
I have to say that's a
Now,
big question.
I know, because even my eyes are like, even as I read it, we'll wait for your answer.
Let's try to answer that.
Okay.
I think through COVID, and now I'm really speaking as a creator. I was creating World Art Dubai for 5 years, and COVID really pushed us into the digital realm. So we couldn't meet anymore. We couldn't discuss about the visuals. So we all had to do that online. And that is a special challenge, I would say. So you have to get special ideas about the art and what
Yeah.
it is about. And as I could see during that time, we changed our perception. And so really many also online galleries showed up.
Okay.
Just to get these not being able to meet. But what it also showed is that it's really hard for the people to do so. So my answer is that I don't know where it's going to.
Yeah.
I really have the feeling that the people love to walk around and to see the art, to come in touch with the art, to feel the emotion. You can have that online as well, but yeah. It's of course it's different, and I felt that it's step back after we were all allowed to go out again. So people are more into the, let's say, physical art again.
Yeah.
That is what I notice. But of course, I can also imagine that there are new tools coming up. I mean, it's always with these kind of huge disturbances, you will feel something later on in reality. For example, I can imagine that there will one day exist, and maybe it's already existing, platforms where you can rent digital art. I mean, it's all these NFTs after the market breakdown or broke down. People start to get confused. What is going on in this market? What does it mean? What is NFT? What is AR, VR, and all these kind of things? Right? It's confusing.
Yeah.
So. But I think the people understood that there is digital art. You can see it in certain ways. And one of it is to have a screen at home and to have some digital pictures, videos that can run there. And I can imagine that there will exist a platform where you can rent, for example, on a monthly basis, always different visuals.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise...
Well, it's a question mark. Either way, it's a question mark. And I'm wondering, Ivan and Jillian, does that question bring up anything for you as far as thinking about the future and integrating the technological advances into art? Did that bring up anything for you? Did it spark anything? Or maybe your imagination of what technology and art can be, should be, will be?
Hello?
There you go.
Sorry.
Yep.
I like the idea of the conversation between AI and its use in art. For example, very, very recently, the German photographer Boris Eldison, he won the first prize at the Sony World Photography Awards.
Okay.
And he announced that his image was completely AI. It was a completely manufactured 100% AI. He tried to tell the...
Oh, my goodness.
My microphone's coming on and off.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry about that. He did try to tell the organisers in advance that this wasn't a genuine photograph. He wanted to start the conversation in the world with the photography community. At what moment is a picture a photograph, and when is the image AI, and when is that defined? And I love the fact that that conversation actually started to take place. A really great conversation to be having.
Yes.
Because a lot of photographers feel that the minute they are there in the moment and the reality and the timing of the capture, it's the visualization, the vision, the being there, the taking the capture. It's a very, very different thing than sitting and saying, hey, can you, give me this, this ingredients for this photograph? And then the memory banks of all computers everywhere in the world will give you that actual image. So they're very different things. I'm very grateful that the conversation is actually taking place now.
Right. And it makes me think about, is this a time where particular genres of art have to be redefined? Because the question that comes up for me, especially if this is in a photography contest, is it photography if it's generated by AI?
Yes.
And where does the art start and where does the art end?
Yeah.
Ivan, is that bringing up anything for you?
May I say?
Yeah, you're coming back? Come on.
Especially AI, I think it's a big thing as well. So people are, on one side, they are really afraid that AR is doing their job, but on the other side, as I said in the beginning, it's just another medium.
It's a medium, yeah.
So the art regarding the AR AI is changing. So the art is more into writing prompts then.
And is that exactly? So the writing
So-
is the art.
Yes.
And the
So it's
product-
still the creativity, it's
Yeah.
still your mind, but the one who is executing it, it's different.
It's
It's
still
not
the
the
art.
brush anymore, it's an artificial intelligence. So maybe that is a little bit, telling what I feel about the AI. Yeah.
I love it though, because I don't think at this point there's a right or wrong. It just creates more questions. All right,
Yeah.
Ivan, you're holding it. Ivan, give it to us. What's on your mind? You have anything?
It's always good to start with the terminology, right? But still, we have internet for like 30 years or even more. Like, and if I ask you what's the internet, you probably can say, "Oh, my website is internet." If I ask this person what's the internet, oh, the cable's right there, it's internet. It's the same for technologies we're talking about, but still, I think before any conversation, we're supposed to like be aligned, right, on the terminology or at least on the ideas. So let's try to bring in the table. So the metaverse, AI, and the blockchain. It will probably take 2 hours just to have an explanation for all of them, but still I will try to give it like a one sentence for each. So the metaverse, it's a next place for the information. So you have a computer, it's flat, it's a screen. You have a phone, it's flat, it's a screen. So the metaverse, it's all about information moving to the space. It's not escaping the reality, you can still have the real world and then digital world on top of this. So basically next way of communication with the information. Then let's talk about the AI. Again, it's extremely huge term, but we need to have at least try to determine this.
Yes,
so
please.
let's keep it as a kind of advisor based on the massive data sets. So if you want to have a decision maker, in some cases, but most of the cases advisor, you need to train them. So let's say AI, it's a solution to provide you some support, some help. That's the way I see this, the way I use this. And the last one, it's a blockchain. So keep it as an idea of having decentralized decision making in some cases or decentralized approval. So if I have this picture, it's one-on-one, it's a physical. It's never like it's impossible to do exactly the same in the physical world. But in digital world, I can literally do Control-C, Control-V, right? So I can copy this. So what's a way to prove this artificial scarcity in a digital world? So the way it works is that I can copy paste it in a virtual world, but then I need to connect a special certificate or token saying this one is actually one-on-one. So we don't have a time to go deeper, but that's the way we are using this. And that's the way it works actually. So let's say, the metaverse, AI, and blockchain can dance together, but also can survive independently. I hope it will help just all of you to understand like the basics, and then we can even go deeper. Yeah. You want to go now?
Well, let's hold off. Let's hold off because So we have or let's go toward it. I see you all have your cameras out. Let's do it. Let's do it, Petra. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm gauging the audience. So if you have your cameras, if you have a camera, I'll let Petra go ahead. You want the mic?
I can help.
This is going to be a semi-short experiment.
Yeah, maybe we can walk to the people.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So it's an interactive panel.
So Petra, tell them what they're looking at and what you'd like for them to do.
See, here on my mobile, I have an AR app. It's called RT Vive, and it's a scanner. And if you hold it onto this physical painting, an art video is starting to the same theme. I don't know. You are welcome.
To come closer.
Maybe we can go to the people a little bit. See it's directly, if you scan it, it's recognizing the painting and then a video is running. You can see? And augmented reality is also is not only showing the painting, it's also showing the rest of the scenery.
And this is not the future. This is what's already here, right? Exactly what Ivan was saying. Yes, 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 yes. You know, I'm going to be the person in the room, Ivan, after that very, very long, amazing way of describing AI, blockchains, all those things. I am going to be the one to say, you know, sometimes I still don't understand. I don't understand. And because you know, when Petra, when you're walking around and kind of showing us the capability, that's when it's like, oh, I get it, you know? So, one, thank you so much for giving us those definitions because that was part of your next question. So, thank you. But then going back to, you know, thinking about these technologies that you're defining and the whole idea of the emerging technologies, um, tell us about what you envision as far as arts and technology and the future. I don't want to say capabilities. I'm going to just leave it at that. What do you envision as far as what doesn't exist and the possibilities of where we can go? I think that's the best way to say it.
Okay, I will improvise on this.
Okay.
Probably the easiest way to bring a bridge between the right answer for this question in all of the audience is to, like, did you saw the latest product by Apple? So it's called Apple Vision Pro. Did you saw it? It's a glasses, no? Okay, so most of you saw it, right?
Yep,
So
see some
probably
heads
the
shaking.
most expensive and the biggest company in the world just announce and say it and present the product, which looks like a ski glasses, and basically delivering the idea of having information not on a screen, but in the real world in front of you. It's not, again, it's not about gaming. It's not about pure virtual experience. It's about having the same stuff we're having in a normal life, like a website, like my favorite applications, like, I don't know, Kareem Delivery or whatever. So, but now it's all connected to the context. So to your room scale apartment or to the city around you. So the project, for example, we are presenting in a villa, or how you call it?
Yes,
Villa,
Bay
yeah, sorry,
5,
number
yes.
5,
Yep.
and it's could be also all around this area. Is that you can have the augmented reality experience on top of the city. So that's probably the topic I'm mostly like pushing in the world,
Yeah.
meaning that we're helping everyone to get the storytelling, and I really I can appreciate the way you're putting this. I'm a storyteller, so we are the one to provide technology to provide the storytelling. So answering your question, to envision this. So yeah, I believe that's a part of the information we're all used to have, like navigation or advices or rating of this cafe or restaurant, all this common useful stuff will slowly and gently move to the space around us so we can see all this digital interplay with the physical world. And of course, like artists are one of the first one who jumping in, like, okay, let's try, let's do this. And I saw, again, I'm doing this for like literally more than 10 years, and I saw thousands of examples when the engineer from like a very big solid company coming and just viewing the augmented reality artwork, and now something in his brain started to say, okay, can I do the same but with my engineering stuff I'm doing at work? And then the process starting, because when I'm coming to this company saying, do you want it? Yeah, I want it. It can help me to distribute, to deliver some information to the colleague in all the side of the planet, because I know how the technology works. But again, thanks artists and all the art community to helping to deliver some of the brave technological ideas to the field. It's really helping us to move the whole scene.
Is that the metaverse?
Yeah.
Is that the start of the metaverse you're explaining to us?
Me personally, I prefer the term spatial computing because I'm a geek and everything. But yeah, for general understanding, if you're not connecting this term with Meta or Mark Zuckerberg, so like keep it as an idea, then it's fine. Then you can say this, yeah.
Thank you.
And see, this is why the storytelling is so important, because as you were talking about these Apple things, and you're like, okay, so now we're walking around with ski goggles on, engaging with technology around it. I can imagine that. Is that where the world is going? Us walking around with.
Actually, I have one with me. So after this workshop, if you never tried this, feel free to come and test it. So it's pretty hard to get one here, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we paid extra a lot to get it first. So.
And that's the beautiful thing. I think, just even hearing the conversation, I'm smiling because it's like, wow, I hear about these things. And of course, I'm not necessarily exploring all of these things, but it's like, we can do that? Really? Today? That's available? So it is exciting. Whew, it's loud. Okay. Even the wind is excited. Okay, I'm coming back to you, Jillian. So your role as a photographer at GMR Studio involves exploring alternative forms of artistic expression. Can you talk about a particular project where you successfully blended your traditional photography with more innovative technologies to get that unique artistic outcome?
Okay, well, it's quite a good question, and I've been thinking about this considerably, but as a more traditional style photographer, I have moved away from that style of processing in my photography. Like, for example, at the moment, I have just completed a series of portraits for Bill Bailey. He's a comedian in the UK. He's doing a very large arena tour around the UK, and I not only did his posters, but I also did all of his promotional shots. Now, when people saw the photograph of Bill with this yellow ball python round his neck, Rex, which was went out in the newspapers in the UK, people actually thought this is AI, it's been photoshopped. They didn't actually realize until Bill had to explain, no, this is my pet, this is reality, and the photographer taking the picture knows her technology and her timing and the storytelling, and this is a real picture.
Oh, wow.
So I'm I have refrained from using this technology, but getting back to Lightroom itself, as I said, Lightroom has really, really changed. And the photograph I have got at the moment here at the Fine Arts Festival that I took in Bangkok at the market, the live market. Now, again, the technology, using my camera, I'm freezing in the rain, the ice is moving, it's got very, very dark, I'm trying to get depth of field. There's so many things I'm trying to get in this photograph with the traditional technology that I have.
Yeah.
Now, I am very aware, after I took the picture, as fantastic as it is, if I'd run that through AI to reduce what we call noise. It used to be grain in the old days, but it's now called noise. That is unavoidable in the modern technology. I could have had a very, very, very smooth photograph, and that's what the AI would have done to that particular piece of work.
I see.
I held back. I didn't actually process the picture that way. I don't know. Maybe in the future, again, things might change. That is another question.
See, that's interesting, because what it's bringing up for me is almost like original raw is going to be its own genre, an unedited picture in comparison to the photos that are, edited by AI, all of these apps, softwares, filters, like just raw could be its own thing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I think it's great. I obviously love this style of photography I do at the moment, but yesterday I was here teaching iPhone photography for fun, for example, and the iPhone technology. In fact, I was actually just thinking, instead of everybody going around with their phone in front of them, we'll still be going around with headsets in their eyes instead. I can actually visualize that happening. But I'm just thinking of something as simple as live on your phone. The live, before you know it, you've got bounce, you've got, slow motion, you can turn into video. It's just in the touch of a button. It's so fast, it's so easy to use, and it's just so much fun, and that is another technology that is speeding through that most of us have on our fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay, we're going to keep it going. Now, if anything is coming up for you, hold it, hold it. We have very little time, and then you'll be able to ask your questions. I know you have some good questions. Okay, I'm coming back to you. Last one. Make it amazing. Oh, you're getting the sun. I'm sorry. Okay. Your recent foray into sculpturing is intriguing. I'll say that again. It's very intriguing. How does this new artistic dimension complement or diverge from your previous works? And what motivated this shift, or it may not be a shift, maybe expansion, into this new medium?
I start with the last question mark. So it's more an extension.
Okay.
It, I was triggered by a request from an institution. They were asking for some sculpture, and I didn't do any sculpting before. And when I got into all these new medium, of course, I also examined the 3D printing. I'm
Oh, we didn't touch on that yet. Yeah.
so I'm not very much techie, but a little bit I am. So
Yeah.
I went into this and designed a sculpture by 3D printing and finished it at least by hand. But it's a logical step for me because at first I painted this motif and I used it in a painting. And I thought, oh, it's also amazing to have it in 3D, and that is how it came.
Yeah.
If
Ivan, I
this-
saw your face. Did that spark up something for you?
Yeah, I'm writing different notes and because
I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
when you mentioned the 3D printing, it just remind me one of the probably most fascinating experience I had working with artists was with Frank Stella. He's like 85 or something, and
Okay.
of course there are a bunch of producers around him. We're always on a call, but then the again, I will get back to the word of brave. It's like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And basically, the idea was to have a multiple digital sculptures which you can buy as a digital sculpture. You'll get the kind of this NFT. You remember, right? The certificate proving that that's actually by Frank Stella. But then you also will get it as a file to see it in augmented reality. So imagine you're like an empty apartment. You can rotate your phone. You can see the sculpture by Frank Stella right there. Then you can place it in your virtual space. Imagine in nearest future you'll all have a virtual world, your own virtual world, so you can place it there. And then he also provided technical drawings to do the 3D printing. So when you're buying asset, he's also allowing you, even based on the contract you're signing, to do whatever you want with this. You can color this in different, like you can paint on top of this. You can place it in a virtual world, in AR, and 3D printing. So just enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this. And that's quite cool for Frank Stella of being like a tier one sculptor in the world. And yeah, I love it. I love the multiple possibilities of having to enjoy the artwork. And yeah, maybe if it's the last question, it's my last opportunity to say something. So probably.
Wait, no, it's not. Wait.
Oh, okay.
So, Petra, I'm coming back to you
Sorry.
because so that storytelling, goodness, you're great at it. Because now I'm imagining going into someone's apartment and seeing nothing, and then you put on these glasses and everything is there in the virtual space. I have never thought about that, FYI. Petra, I'm coming back to you because I want to hear a little bit more about your process with this new medium that you're exploring with the 3D printing. Because I know 3D printing in itself is one thing, access to it, the cost, everything, but then you're taking it to another step and then designing, or at least painting and designing. Tell us a little bit more about what exactly you're doing with this new art expression.
You like to see that?
You have it with you. Look, I know you have it with you. Show us, please.
Yes, please.
Oh, my
I was hoping that you were asked.
goodness. Look at
So,
this.
That is that is my little love dispensing pomegranate sculpture.
Wow.
So my main motive are the pomegranates, and yeah, it's a symbol for love, right? And so I thought I'm going to show that the pomegranate inheriting the love is spreading it from inside out. So it's kissing around the world.
Oh, that is
Yes.
too nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you can
And
have
that
it.
was-
Sorry.
That was not planned. I didn't know what was in that box.
Ah,
That was
okay.
not planned. That was just a good question. So tell us
Maybe you
about
felt it.
this. Yeah.
You can have that in different sizes, in different colors. I'm able to do it out of sand, for example.
Oh, wow.
Where I feel that's very interesting here in this region. It's also very sustainable, so it can be up to 2.5 meters. Can you imagine? That's really huge then.
Wow. And then
Yeah.
after it's printed, then you go through and you're painting it. You're even designing what the print is going to be. Wow, yeah.
The material, you want to know?
Well, the
or-
pomegranate and the kisses and all of that. Because, okay, so for the person who doesn't do 3D printing, you're basically telling this machine what to
Yes.
create for you.
Yes.
So
It's
this
a
is your
file.
artistic
Yes.
expression. Yep.
So first, I painted it
Yep.
in a painting, and then
Okay.
I had the feeling that it's ideal to make a sculpture out of it, and so I created more sketches and went with my sketches and my painting to the 3D printer, and with them I created the file. So I was literally sitting beside this guy and said, "Here I want to have the lips, and there, and smaller, and this kind of."
Wow.
And it was a long process.
But that's the being brave. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's the
I already
being
scanned
brave.
it, so we can place it in a virtual world now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think this is actually quite incredible because this amazing piece of work in the design gallery, which I saw it last week, and I looked at it, I thought that bit of ceramics is amazing. I really like that. I would quite like to have that in my home. And when I spoke to Petra today, she said to me that it was a 3D printing. I just could not believe it. I actually thought it was ceramic. So I was quite blown away, actually, by that. And the story of you just seeing the size that it can actually be printed to in the technology. And now I've realized that we're about to own it virtually. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, isn't
I will
it?
ask for percent, okay?
Wow. And again, this is not the things that, these are not the things that we're envisioning for the future. This is what exists now. And just the idea of being brave and exploring something new, then you are, presenting these amazing things. Great. Great. Okay, so Ivan, now I'm coming back to you with your last question. Let's see, for artists seeking to explore augmented reality, virtual reality, or spatial computing, which is the word you said is not
Yep.
the metaverse.
Yeah.
And if they want to bring these things into their own creative practices, based on your expertise in these technological realms, what advice, what strategies would you offer to those just interested in playing with it?
Okay, I will start with the simplest one to the most important and complicated one.
Okay.
So the first one you'll probably already get it from the previous answers, but is like try it. I saw a couple of artists coming to me saying, "Okay, I want to do a VR project, but I don't like VR. Did you try it? No, not yet. But I read an article in Forbes saying that metaverse is dead. That's it. So." Never judge based on an article in Forbes. Try it yourself. If you don't like VR glasses, that's fine. That's okay. Try it in a couple of years again, and maybe it's time. But literally, just Google it. Try first 10 links you found, and then decide. The second one is the standards. That's a little bit technical, but still extremely important. So. Imagine that I take a picture of this artwork. I created a JPEG. Everyone knows JPEG, right?
Yes.
You can go to Desco for printing.
Yep.
You can give them JPEG. You can send JPEG in WhatsApp. But you never ask, how does it work, right? It just simply works. All the planet, the whole planet agreed that the JPEG, it's a standard. It's a standard to send a digital image. So for my world, where everything is three-dimensional, we also have standards. And that's international standards all around the world. So if you're an artist or you're an art creator, and you're thinking about creating the digital artwork, start to speculate about the 30 years perspective, 40 years perspective. What will happen with this artwork? I know that JPEG will survive, right?
Okay,
It's a standard.
absolutely.
So the same for 3D asset. You don't want it to be like one week adventure. You want it to be like a treasure, right? So
Exactly.
think about the long term. Then the short advice, it's a great interplay between technologies. Just having AI, it's not enough. Just having AR, it's not enough. Having metaverse, not enough. Trying to play between them, trying to bring a connection between them, trying to bring the connection between the feelings, like the physical feelings, and then some digital technology. So yeah, just if you found something interesting, connect it with something you already know. And the last one, and extremely important one, it's ethics. I am the tech guy, so I know a lot about the stuff happening like underneath the technology horizon. And the fact that there are so many exploitation of the data of the users, so many gaze tracking, so many different stuff happening right now, that I really I want to sometimes inspire artists to highlight some of this stuff because there are so many questions we need to answer the big corporations creating the future of the technology for us. That's probably the artwork. It's something, the way to ask this question, the way to highlight the way we want to have the future. Because probably you all have maybe kids or friends with the kids. You know that they are playing with Roblox and all this kind of stuff. They're playing with the games. It scares you, but then it's in our hands to create this future in the way we want. And to do this, we need to ask the right questions. So basically, the understanding of the ethics of usage of the technology, it's probably the most important one to create the future we want when we still have and respect the real world. And then we have the good balance between this. So that's probably the 4 advices I have for the artists exploring the combination between the technology and
Yeah, that's
art.
great. Wow, that's great. And for those of you in the room, I'll add a 5th. Don't let Ivan leave here without getting his WhatsApp number because this is who you want to hang out with if you are interested in exploring AR.
Correct. AI. It's like, yeah.
AR, AI, all of this. VR. That's what it was. VR needs to be your best friend. All right, Jillian. I'm going to my dear Jillian, and then I'm coming out to you all. So I hope your questions are ready. Okay. Looking forward, what excites you most about the possibilities of fusing together art and technology? You know, Jillian, I love the fact that you said, I used to be in the dark room, and oh my goodness, I love a good dark room, where you're with the liquids and, you have the paper and you're watching. Oh my goodness, that just brought up some amazing memories. But now you're in the light room talking about technologies and stuff. So how do you think one can ensure these technological elements don't overshadow the artistic intent, but instead enhances it?
That's another good question, and not the easiest one to answer. Getting back to the photography element of it, the Lightroom, the advancement of Lightroom, and the editing, which does take the longest time in photography. So, Lightroom is so fast now, it's saving time. And we all know that time is currency. So, I'm really looking forward to that moving on. But, the question is also, like I said before, it's integrity. I don't want to use the AI, to change my storytelling.
Yeah.
But, I'm just thinking, this whole conversation today, NFTs, the metaverse, Web3, AR, AI, question mark. I just sort of think, I'm open. I'm really, really open. No closed doors.
Oh, that's great.
And, I'm really dancing between the caution and the courage. And I'm trying to embrace the future and learn about it like I think we all are today.
Yeah. Are you ready for your Apple goggles?
I'm quite looking forward to that, actually.
All right, so I'm going to come out to the audience. Is there any burning questions, comments? I am going to bring the microphone to you. Perfect, right here in front. Oh, you, okay, yep, perfect. Thank you, Gretchen.
Hello.
Yep.
I'm sorry, my English is not perfect, but I'm trying my best. I'm AI specialist as well. I'm a guy. And as you know, if we see physical masterpiece, we like it, and we can explain why. There is no rational reason. There is some magic, something we can't explain, but we like this physically. Do you think if we put a virtual environment, is it possible to have similar feelings? Because I think that physical object, it is charged by this magic, this.
So like the emotional in
Yeah.
the virtual, yeah, you got
Yeah.
it. Yep.
That's actually the first question we get from the Hermitage when we start working with them. Can you do this? Can you deliver this magic of like a three-dimensional artwork plus smell plus feeling of the actual presence in the real world? The answer is not, that we cannot do this. As soon as the technology will be advanced enough to mimic the reality in a way you're asking for, there will be plenty of technologies, including the like a chip inside the brain, everything, stuff like this. We're talking about really long-term perspective. They will mimic their sense of they will mimic the sense of presence much better than just a bunch of like simulations of the smell, visual stuff. So yeah, we need to be very careful with this, but still, we're not about to. Our goal as developers is not to kind of copy the reality, to feel the kind of presence in a fake reality. So that's not the point. The point is just create something on top of the real world, at least for me, for a community around me. But yeah, the short answer to your question, no, it is almost impossible to deliver this in a virtual world.
And I'm sorry, one more question.
Yeah.
Don't you afraid that artificial intelligence can replace real artists?
Oh, real artists.
Back to your
Oh,
point,
sorry.
right? So do you believe that in the future the AI will replace the real artists? Back to the idea of the photo, remember?
Well, I don't actually think AI will replace the real artist. Like Pet was saying earlier, you know, in the AI, somebody has to have the creative mind to ask the questions, to come up with the ideas. I would like to think that what will actually happen is the genres will be defined more clearly, where my storytelling photography will be safe, because it's a reality. I'm capturing something that's real in real time, that's really, really happening. And I think there will always be a place in the world for that. And I do welcome the new technology in the AI. You know, I really welcome what's happening. And, you know, I really like the idea of growing. You know, I embrace that.
But do you remember the moment when the Garry Kasparov lost the check match with
Deep Blue, yeah.
Yeah. So exactly, like basically next day, he said, okay, that's fine. I will create a new type of chess game where myself, together with a trained AI, playing with the other humankind, together with the AI. So it's kind of it's not a win and lose. It's more like a benefit of both. So I believe that it will be great to have more like consistency, like in real life. But of course, there are lots of scary things happening.
Frankly, it's not correct example, because Deep Blue, it is a huge set of combinations. So it's not the same as modern AI. And frankly, my job now to put emotions to neural network. So neural network, it's to break neural network. But it's another discussion.
You know, I'm stuck here, but Jillian, so the story that you shared about the person winning the competition for Sony, the photography, and he admitted that he had used AI in this photographer in this photograph. Was he disqualified, or was it okay?
He actually won the first prize, and before he won first prize, he did say to Sony, "This is an AI. It's a vintage image. It's a woman and a daughter, or two women together. It's a really beautiful vintage image. It looks like an old photograph that he's recreated, but it's totally AI." He did try to tell the organisers that this was AI, and nobody was interested, and he was given the first prize. And it was only after that that he sort of tried to get some media attention. He gave the prize back. He said, "I don't want this because I didn't take the picture. You know, I imagined the picture. I created it through the AI to happen. Therefore, it isn't photography. I want the question between photography and AI art to be opened up and discussed." And it was. I mean, it made the BBC News by the Monday morning, and the world started asking that question. So he did a great job.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the emotions and how you do connect, because it seems like that was the intention of creating this AI photograph, was to plug some emotions.
Yeah.
And using that emotion it created a first prize.
Yeah, his name, Boris L. Dagson. That's his name. He's German,
Okay.
German photographer. That was his name. It's worth researching. It's very interesting.
And it's so fascinating to me. So fascinating. All right. Any other questions? Thank you for those questions as well. Really good. Yeah. Any other questions? Yep.
Yeah, this is a question to Jillian and Ivan. And Jillian, you mentioning in your work in particular the difference between enhancement and manipulation. And Ivan, you were actually alluding to the ethics of digital versus physical art. So could you give us an update as to where the discussion went after the Eldexon story at the Sony World Photography Awards? Because is there anything like a codex as to how art, and especially photographic art, should be classified, should be secured, so that actually your real artwork gets protected, and also that the world sees that whatever you come up with is the truth? Because I think that's like one of the key things lying ahead with digital art, that especially as a photograph, you're reflecting the reality in whatever digital format that there may be. But if we allow technology to alter it in an unethical way, I think you're moving it into very, very risky territory. So I would be really interested to understand, where is that discussion about truth, codex, ethics in really, especially in photography,
Okay.
maybe in other areas.
I will try, because sometimes it's really hard to hear because of this, but I will do my best.
Sorry.
So basically, I spent a couple of months together with the guys from Hermitage researching this topic specifically. So my answer is the following. Imagine that, again, back to this artwork, just an example. If I just use my iPhone to create an image of this, just a bunch of pixels, it's not representing this artwork at all, because this JPEG is just a flat representation of a bunch of pixels together with a light, so it's not enough. The only way to create, let's call it a digital twin, not a digital shadow, a digital twin, the proper one, it's to actually to go deep inside the materials, to the chemicals, to the basically the everything you can know about the physical world, including the formula of the oil painting, including all the kind of description of what kind of plastic is this, or what kind of wood is this, when and where it was grown. So all the data set, imagine like the gigabytes of the information you can learn about this artwork, and keep it as a single file and connect it with a JPEG. So now you have this proper data set of the knowledge about this artwork. So whenever it came in the future, okay, not in 1,000, but in 100 years, you can actually start comparing this data set with this artwork, and then you have this proof, like certificate of proof of this physical artwork. So it's extremely complicated, but they have technology to do this, because they doing all this kind of fake and not fake researches of like this is real oil paintings, this is not. So what we
Yeah.
just advise them to collect all this data and keep it. If you want to digitalize the physical art, and we need to be very careful with this, again, not just the JPEG, but lots of information together, then there are chance that there are value in this. So we can play with it. And
That's interesting.
yeah, that's probably the only side, only one direction. And one small note, the last time I saw the good example of benefiting from bringing physical photo, like the classic photo, to the digital world, is when the artists decide to kind of split it on 10,000 pieces. So the community of the followers of this photographer can own a piece of this. So only together, one day, they can come together and bring their pieces together, like in cartoons, and then the power of the artworks will appear only if they are together. So the magic of the ownership of literally like a 10 to 10 pixels from the photo is pretty great. Interplay. Again, it's just like a research purpose. So what if, yeah, it's just a note. Sorry.
That's very Lara Croft, isn't it? Really, in the future.
We can hide it all around Rasselheimer.
Exactly. And those are the things that just make me smile, because my first thing is why? And then essentially it'll be like, oh yeah, this piece is worth $28 trillion and each person owns this much of it. I can imagine it. Well, I guess I don't have to. It exists, right?
Yeah, you can buy it. I have a laptop, so you can buy it now.
I am not swiping my credit card today. All right, you all. So this was perfect, because since we got the Q&A from the audience, we are not going to do the last question. Thank you so much for engaging with us today. Jillian, Ivan, Petra, you all have been absolutely amazing. I hope you all are walking away knowing something that you did not know before you got here. Before you leave, have a conversation with Ivan, because in addition to Bait 5, just telling you all a little bit more about the world display, maybe you can...
Yeah, I'll be right there with the
These,
glasses.
to
So
play,
feel free
with
come.
some
Yeah,
technology.
we're happy to show.
Yep, so stick around. All right, you all join me in a round of applause for our amazing panelists today. Good job. Good job. Good